Welcome back. Oh, this is creaking. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. I hope you are all doing fantastic. I am doing okay. I woke up today and I was like, you know what? I'm doing well. I feel good. And that is why today I'm going to be filming things I wish I told my younger self. Because sometimes I think what it would be like to sit down with my younger self just for 5 minutes. And not to change anything, but just to tell him a few things which will make him feel a whole lot more relaxed. Yeah, so that is why in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 things I wish I told my younger self. Because everyone grows up at different stages of their life, and everyone has probably done some things or acted certain ways in which they regret, or in which they could tell their younger self not to do that specific thing. And that is why today I'm going to be telling you guys them things about my life. So hopefully you guys can stop yourselves making any silly mistakes. Because when you're younger, all you're trying to do is figure out who you are. Every single young person is trying new things, acting new ways, so they can find out a way which actually suits them. And I wish so many times in my childhood, someone could have sat me down and said, hey, you don't need to pretend to be anyone else. You don't need to do things in order to fit in. You simply need to embrace being yourself. And that is why today I'm talking about the things I wish I told my younger self. Some of these are about specifically being gay. Some of these are about just life in general. And yeah, but what all of them share in common is I wish I knew this when I was growing up. I'm comfortable, I'm sat back, let's get into the video. The first point I want to talk about is to stop caring what people think. Them 5 words alone literally held me back more than I could ever imagine. I am the biggest people pleaser ever, and all I wanted to do was please others. Like, I did not care about how I felt about myself. All I cared about was the opinion of other people. And I wish someone sat down and told me that no one cares about you, because that is the bottom line. Every single person has their own life, and every single person is way too focused on what they're doing in their own life. No one cares about you. No one cares about the way you're acting, about the clothes you're wearing. Like, everyone is so focused on themselves, and I wish someone told me that. Because think about it, like, if you think about, I don't know, something embarrassing another person has done, I personally can't think of anything. Can you? Because you probably can't. But obviously, if I was to ask you that about yourself, maybe something would come easier. And that just shows that no one is thinking about other people as much as you think they are. So you simply shouldn't care. Like, the minute I let go of caring in my life, everything in my life changed. That is when I actually got my priorities in order, and I actually started to fight for what I wanted in life. But before then, I was too focused on pleasing everyone else, and it was so damaging. Because everyone feels like we're being judged or we're being watched. But in reality, everyone is just way too focused on themselves. No one's got the time to be worrying about other people. They need to focus on their self. And that is something I wish I realized when I was growing up. And the minute that I actually detached from other people's opinions in my life was when I literally felt like a weight got lifted off my shoulder. Because I wasn't performing for anyone else anymore. I was simply existing for myself. And it was the most freeing feeling I've ever been through. So yeah, trust me when I say no one cares about you. Do what you want to do, wear the clothes you want to, and literally just be yourself, because in 100 years time, you're going to be dead, I'm going to be dead, everyone around you is going to be dead, and no one's going to remember. So literally, who cares? Make a fool of yourself, embarrass yourself, say whatever you want to, and just be yourself. And don't let the opinions of others hold you back in life, because that is something I did for years of my life, and God, that was a miserable 15 years. 15? Yeah, I'd say it was probably around 15. And also, another thing I want to remind you guys is that people's opinions will forever be changing. Like, it's not something which is set in stone. One day someone might think you're really kind and cute and beautiful. The other day they might think you're the worst person in the world, and you can't control other people's opinions, so just let them. Because someone who's judging you today or someone who's hating on you today can have a completely different perspective in 10 years time, or not even in a week's time. And what that means is that if people's opinions are constantly changing literally by the day, then why are you going to internalize what they're saying to you? Because even their own opinion of you is changing. So it makes no sense to internalize an opinion which is literally going to change in less than a day. See, that doesn't make any logical sense. So remember that a lot of people in your life are gonna hate. You can be the nicest person ever, people are still gonna hate on you, but it doesn't matter because people don't even know their own opinions. So why would you internalize something which someone isn't even sure of? It doesn't make sense. So quit it out. Oh, Queen is thirsty. And also, when I constantly cared what other people thought of me, I was constantly living in approval. Like I said, I was not prioritizing what I wanted, and that showed. I was so miserable. I literally hated my life, and I was acting like I wasn't living my own life. It was like I was living a life to impress other people. Oh my God, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, and if you constantly live your life focused on pleasing everyone else, you are going to live one miserable life. Because whose life is this? This is your life. This isn't Samantha's. This isn't Jessie. This isn't Becky's life. No, this is your life. And you have to start acting like that. My second point, which I wish someone told me when I was earlier, is that you don't need to rush. Growing up, I always felt like I had to be doing the next thing. I had to be learning. I had to be moving. I had to be doing something which is pushing me forward. And honestly, that is a great mindset to have to an extent, because I still hold parts of that mindset today. Like, I still work every single day. I show up, I try new things, I learn, I grow. But every single day I remind myself that this isn't a race. All that you need to do is focus on your own path. Don't compare yourself to anyone else, because that is where the comparison comes from. And they say comparison is the thief of joy for a reason. They didn't just make that quote up from nowhere. They said it because it's true and it means something. So I would literally just tell myself to calm down, take a breather, take a step back, and realize that you're not in a race and you can just go slowly. Because when you're young, there is so much pressure to figure everything out, as if you're meant to have everything figured out when you're a child. Like, whether that comes from school or your family environment or literally your friends, there is just such pressure which does not go away. The amount of stress that I literally felt aged 10 years old sitting my exams in primary school was not healthy. That was not a healthy amount of stress in which I should be going through. At 10 years old, at 15 years old, at 18 years old, you should not be stressing that much. You should be enjoying your life. And when you're in the school system, unfortunately, you can't really avoid that. Well, actually, I think you can. And the reason I think I stress so much is because the environment I was raised up in, I feel like it was very much like, you need to go to school, you need to do well, you need to go to uni, you need to get the top grades, which is why I had that pressure. But yeah, you guys need to remember that you simply don't need to stress about these things, because it's never as important as you actually think it is. And the amount of pressure when you're young is literally crazy. It makes you think that you're meant to have every part of your life figured out. But in reality, most 50-year-olds don't have their life figured out. So how can you expect a child to? Again, it doesn't make sense. So stop believing it. It is a lie. It's some weird kind of idea that someone has forced onto you. You don't need to stress. You don't need to rush. Take a step back and just enjoy the ride. And also, another thing that you guys have to realize is that everyone's timeline is different. Some people get everything they could ask for at day one. They could be born into nepotism. Their mum could be Selena Gomez and their father could be Elon Musk, and they could have everything they could ever want in life and that be that. Whereas other people can work every single day of their life for 12 hours, and by the time they're 60, only then can they afford to move out of their house. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's timeline is different and life simply isn't fair. So if you compare your timeline to other people's timeline, it just doesn't make sense, because they have advantages over you and you have advantages over them. So why would you compare two separate things? It doesn't make sense. Some people are born into nepotism. Some people fight their entire life to afford a McDonald's meal. You know what I mean? There is no point comparing, because everyone is on their own separate path. So remember that there's no correct schedule, and I truly believe that everything that happens in your life is meant to happen exactly when it does. I think that, like, your path is already planned out. Everything which you'll do, everything which you'll go on to achieve, everything is already laid out. So there is no point in rushing it, because that's not going to change the path in which you go down. You should just take a step back. Remember that there's no rush and everyone is on their own journey. So if you discover something when someone else discovers the same thing when they're a child, then it doesn't matter, because everyone's different and everyone, like I said, is on their own journey. You can't compare everyone in the world when we are so beyond different. It just doesn't make sense. That's like comparing me to Kris Jenner. Like, no, we're on different timelines and that's fine. And also, if you're struggling and you feel like you're just behind in life and you have no idea what you're doing, then I have to remind you that your life will expand beyond your current world, because what you're feeling right now or what you're going through right now is temporary. It does not mean that it's going to last forever. So why are you acting like it does? It doesn't. That's a fact. Life is constantly changing. Everything in your life is constantly evolving. So even though right now you may be struggling, you have to remember that in a week or in a month or in a year, everything could change. So the environment that you're in right now might feel like it's literally sucking all the life out of you, but it won't always be. And in the future, the thing you're going through right now will be a very, very small, insignificant part of your life, which is why you just have to keep pushing, because guess what? Life isn't going to wait for you. Every single second of your life, seconds are going to pass and pass and pass. And if you wait for things to get better, then you're going to fall behind. You need to make sure that you're on track and you're actively working to get better. But also remember that you don't need to rush things excessively. Take it slow, take a breather, relax, and just make sure every single day you're working towards becoming a better person, period. Now, my third point I want to talk about is that being gay isn't something to hide. Now, this is very personalized for me because obviously I am gay. So yeah, I understand how this can't apply to everyone, but this is for me, so I'm going to be saying this point. The first thing I want to say for anyone who's stuck in the closet is that the fear is often bigger than the reality. And that is because before even accepting yourself, the idea of other people knowing can be terrifying. And it can be terrifying due to so many different reasons. It can be because your family's against it, or because it means that you'll be unsafe, or you won't have a house to sleep in, like the list goes on. But I want to remind you guys that some things in life you can't change, just like your sexuality. So there is no point in stressing so much over something when you have no control over it. What you should do instead is learn to accept who you are and be okay with that, because there is no point in trying to stress over something or letting something eat you alive when you literally can't change it. That is a waste of your stress. Use that energy which you would use for stressing and apply it to a different area in your life. Apply it to becoming a bigger person, apply it to growing, apply it to becoming more emotionally intelligent, but don't use that precious energy on literally bringing yourself down, because that doesn't make sense. And also, if you're brought up in an environment which literally hates on you anyway, then again, you can't control that. There's nothing that you can do to change that. There's nothing which you can do to change the opinions of others. It simply is the way it is, and that's that. Oh my god, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh my god, why am I sneezing so much? So because of that, if you're wasting your time trying to change other people's opinions, then that is a very big waste of your time. And even if the people around you never accept you for who you are, that doesn't matter. All that matters is that you accept yourself. So that's why I would tell my younger self to learn to love yourself, and regardless of what anyone in the world could say about you, make sure you know who you are. And also, another big point is you deserve to live honestly. Again, even if everyone's hating on you, that doesn't mean that you don't deserve to live. Like, you deserve to live just as much as the next person. You deserve to experience life. You deserve to have fun. So even though it might feel like you feel a bit out of place, that doesn't matter, because that has nothing to do with what you deserve in life. You deserve literally everything and more, so start acting like it. Because if not, then you will start to hide so many parts of yourself, just like I did. Literally for the first 15 years of my life, I was actually more than 15. I was constantly hiding every aspect of myself, and I literally couldn't be who I wanted to be. And because of that, it drained me so much. And it made me feel like I was living for someone else. It didn't make me feel like I was living for myself. And that literally makes no sense, because hello, it's my life. I should be the one in control. But because I was so fixated on the opinions of other people, I most certainly was not the one in control of my own life. And trust me, it showed in the way that I was acting. It showed in my mood, it showed in my depression, and thank God I've escaped that era of my life. But that is why I want to say that you deserve to exist as yourself. You don't deserve to live a life where you're hiding parts of who you are. You have one life, so why waste it? Show up as yourself, say whatever you want to, and be authentic. Because before you know it, everyone's gonna die and you will have wasted that opportunity. So trust me when I say, don't waste the opportunity and live as authentically as possible. And growing up, you can feel so lonely. Like, you can feel like everyone in the entire world is against you. And a lot of people will be, but the right people won't leave. So of course, at times you're gonna feel lonely, you're gonna feel empty, and that's normal, everyone does. But you have to remember that the right people in your life aren't gonna leave. The people who actually respect you and care for you and acknowledge you, they will be in your life because they want to see you succeed. And as for the people who don't, then they probably will leave your life, but that's probably a good thing. And even though at times it can feel like you have no one, you have to remember that you always have yourself. So as long as you're happy with who you are and you have a good relationship with yourself, then life can be a piece of cake. And that is why I advocate so much for learning who you are. Like, literally learn and analyze every single part of yourself, because at the end of the day, you're going to be stuck with yourself forever. There's no escaping who you are. And that is why you need to make sure you love yourself. Like, I personally have spent years of my life getting to know literally every single part of my personality. And that's why now I genuinely struggle to find things about my personality which I dislike, because I truly like every single part of who I am. And thank God I do, because now that means in the future, no matter who leaves me, no matter who hurts me, no matter who isn't by my side, I know I've got myself and I know I can rely on myself. So clock into that one. Now, my fourth point I want to talk about is that you don't need to fit any stereotype. Growing up, like I said, I was always playing a different character of who I really was. And because of that, I was constantly changing the person I was so that I could fit other people's stereotypes of me. But I have to remind you, there isn't one stuck way in which you need to be yourself. You're allowed to try new things, you're allowed to have fun. So take advantage of that while you can, because in the future, you might not have as many opportunities as you do now. And remember that even if you feel out of place, you do not have to act a certain way. You can be whoever you want to be. One day you want to be really funny, the next day you want to wear pink, the next day you want to sulk in your depression. Literally good, because that just means that you're learning more about yourself and you're not trying to fit other people's narratives of you. You are fully yourself, regardless of what anyone else in the world thinks about you. You don't need to fit into anyone else's stereotypes. And when I did try and change who I was, oh my goodness, that was the most depressing moment of my life. Like, truly, comparison is the thief of joy. I spent so many years of my life literally trying to be someone who I wasn't. And whenever I did that, I was always so beyond miserable. Whether that was in school and I was trying trying to get people to like me, or whether that was with my own family members and I was trying to portray someone in which I wasn't, I was just so miserable. However, the second I actually started embracing who I was and showcased what I have to offer, that is where everything changed. Because I realized that people are gonna have an opinion regardless. Like, you can try and act really, really straight and people will be like, oh my God, like, why is he trying so hard? Or you can be really, really gay and people will call you slurs. There's nothing that you can do, which is why who cares what anyone thinks of you? You have to live as authentically as yourself, because there is not a correct way to live your life. Everyone is constantly learning, everyone is constantly adapting, and that's a great thing. But what you can't do is lock yourself into one specific personality, because that isn't you, that's fake. And if you do that, you're just gonna live a very miserable life. If you actually acknowledge that parts of you are always gonna be changing, then you will get in touch of who you actually are. And also, another thing I wish I told myself was that your personality doesn't need to change. You don't have to act differently just so people like you. You don't have to wear clothes which don't make you feel confident. No, like, you guys have to remember this is your life. So why are you letting other people control it? I literally don't understand, and I wish I told my younger self that. And growing up, it can feel like you have to constantly change parts of yourself in order to fit in with others, because I feel like that is what we've all been fed growing up, but that is a lie. And hopefully at this stage in your life, you can realize that, because nothing good is going to come from pretending to be someone in which you're not. Well, in a very rare scenario, then maybe, but majority of the time, you are so much better off just being yourself. Because when you actually be yourself, you allow yourself to learn more about who you are. You learn more about the things you like, more about the things you don't like, and ultimately it means that you learn more about who you are. And that means that in the future, you'll be able to rely on yourself. And trust me when I say that is a very beneficial skill to have, because not a lot of people can say that. Whereas thankfully now, I can. And that is why I'm trying to teach you guys the same thing. And also remember that you can define your own identity. Your own identity is a product of every single thing that you've been through and that you will go through in the future. And everyone in the world has a different view of their identity. Some people think they're really smart, some people think they're really cool, like, you know, it doesn't matter. Everyone's identity is subjective, and you have to remember that you are the one in control. So even though other people might be really, really smart, that doesn't matter. What matters is that you control your own identity. Don't let other people control it. Don't let other people take advantage of you. You are the one in control, so start acting like it. And also remember that if you want to change parts of yourself, then that's completely okay. As long as you do it in a healthy way, I would encourage that. And remember that you don't have to let other people in your life if you feel like it's not serving you. If something or someone isn't serving you in life, then you have every right to remove yourself from whatever it is. Because you are the main character and you are the one in control. Therefore, you get to decide what you surround yourself with. And growing up, that can be really hard because a lot of times you can't escape the things no matter how badly you want to. Like whether that's something within you or whether that's someone in your family. It's easier said than done to remove that aspect in your life. But you have to remember that in the future, once you've gained independence, you will be the main leader. You will have the biggest say of whichever direction you take your life in. And trust me when I say that is a very freeing feeling. So to sum up this point, remember that you don't have to impress anyone. You don't need to fit into places in which you clearly don't belong. Simply exist as whoever you are and make sure that you are the one in control of your own personality. Because if you're trying to change parts of yourself to fit into somewhere, trust me when I say you don't belong there. And you are much better off being fully on your own. Now, my fifth and final point that I want to talk about is that things really do get better. Because if you want it bad enough, then things will get better. And that is literally the bottom line. But when you're in the moment, it can feel like your entire life is falling apart. You can feel like you have no idea where you're going. You can feel like your life is literally a lie. And you can feel like you're going to be stuck in that mindset forever. But you have to remember that if you want it bad enough, then things in life will change and they will get better. Because as I said, life is constantly evolving and changing. And the more you experience life, the more you realize what actually serves and what feeds your soul. And remember that your confidence will build slowly over time. And what feels overwhelming now isn't going to feel overwhelming in the future. And that is because in the beginning, you are new to all these experiences. Let's say someone called you fat in school. That could be the first time someone called you fat. So obviously you're going to be like, wait, why would someone say that to me? Like, that's really rude. That's really disrespectful. But in the future, as you experience life and as your confidence builds, let's say someone calls you fat, then you'll have a completely different outlook. If someone called me fat now, the first thing my mind would go to was you're insecure. And my heart would truly break for them because I know they would be struggling. I would not internalize that and I would not make it hold me back in life. But obviously that's because I've been through the experience so many times. I've learned how to grow my confidence. I've learned how to not internalize other people's opinions of me. And I've learned to prioritize my peace. So trust me when I say, I know it can feel like the world is ending right now, but it does get better. And with time, your confidence, your strength, your personality, it all builds. And as you experience your life, these personality traits become stronger and stronger. So make sure you never lose sight of who you are. And remember that in the future, you'll meet people who understand you. There are over 8 billion people in the world. And if you want to, you can absolutely find the person who serves you. Whether that's a romantic relationship or a platonic one, it literally doesn't matter. But what matters is that as life expands, you will find people who you want to be around. And when you find them people and when they actually serve you and help you become a better person, make sure you hold on to them. But also don't expect to find the person just like that. Like, finding the people who are right for you is not a quick and easy process, and it can take a lot of time, and very few people are actually born with the same people in which they will spend the rest of their life with. But as you experience life, as you go to new places, as you talk to new people, you will start to find what you actually feel like serves your soul. And when you know what serves your soul, you can go out there and find people with that in mind. Which is why I have to remind you that at times it can feel like your entire life is falling apart. It can feel like you have no idea what you're doing. It can feel like you're living the most isolating and lonely life ever. But I have to remind you, there are 8 billion people in the world. So several people in the world are going to be the right people for you. You just have to be patient, and trust me when I say that when the time is right, you will find them. But also, if you don't find them, then that's fine, because you have yourself, and you are the most important thing in the world. So regardless of your relationship with anyone else, as long as you're okay with being completely on your own, you will be unstoppable. And also remember that your younger self would be proud. Literally almost everything I do now, of course I do it to serve myself, but also I do it to serve my younger self, because he deserves absolutely everything. And that is why right now I'm making sure I actively work on achieving all of my wildest dreams, because younger me back then was so ambitious, and I still am now, and I don't think my ambition is something I'll ever lose. That is why I'm not losing sight of who I am. I'm making sure to not let go of parts of myself in which I carried as a child, because I deserve to make my younger self proud, and I deserve to make my future self proud as well. And all that is down to is me, and that's down to what I do every single day, which is why I work very hard every single day to make sure I'm getting closer and closer and closer to achieving my dream life. Because you don't have to do the most every single day. You don't need to spend hours and hours working or studying or trying new things. As long as you're getting 1% better every single day, then your entire life can change. And remember how far that you've come. Whenever I'm feeling down or wherever I'm feeling like I'm not enough, I always think about 2 years ago. I think about how much I've grown, how much I've learned, how much I've built only within 2 years. 2 years, that is such a small fraction of your life. Like, that is nothing. So think about what you can do in 5, in 10, in 50, in 60 years. You can literally go on to achieve everything that you could ever once imagine. And that is why you have to do it for your younger self. Because at times in your life, life is not going to feel perfect. You're going to feel lost, you're going to feel confused, and that's completely normal. But you can't let that feeling hold you back. You have to take advantage of that feeling. Realize that something isn't adding up, and change what you do on a daily to make sure that it serves whatever it is that you want to achieve. Because the version of you which once felt confused would be so amazed of how far you've come. And you have to hold on to that. Because if you've proven to yourself that within a couple of years you can make so much change, then who's to say that you can't do the same thing but even bigger and better next time? Because trust me, you absolutely can. So please remember that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And even though right now you can feel like you're literally dying, remember that things do get better. And regardless of what anyone in the world could possibly say about you, all that matters is that you show up as yourself. Go after what you want to achieve in life. Show up every single day, learn new things, try new things, talk to new people, and literally just experience what life has to offer. Because as long as you're improving every single day, before you know it, you will be a star. But also remember that you have to be patient, because in order to grow and evolve, it is going to take a lot of time. But if you take every day on its own and you focus on the day at hand, then before you know it, everything that you could once want will be a reality. And that is what I do every single day. I take each day as it comes, and that makes sure that I don't spiral out of control. Perfect. Well, those are my 5 points all summed up, and that is a good summary of everything that I would tell my younger self. So to sum up my points, I would stop caring what people think of me, because that's only going to hold me back. I wouldn't rush my life, because everything which is meant for me will find me. I just need to sit back and enjoy the ride. I would also tell myself that being gay or being yourself isn't something to hide. You are special and you deserve to show up as authentically as possible. And also, your personality is your superpower, so take advantage of it. I would remind myself that I don't need to be anyone in which I wasn't, because if I'm spending any time of my life pretending to be someone in who I'm not, that is just gonna hold me back. And finally, I would remind myself that things really do get easier. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and as long as you believe in yourself, you can go on to achieve anything that you want. Delusion is very, very important. Perfect. Well, those are my points done. So to sum up this video, I want to say that I think everyone has points in which they wish they could tell their younger self, and fingers crossed that something I've said in this video is something someone else might need to hear right now. So no matter what age you are right now, if you're struggling and you feel like you're unsure of who you are, just know that you are not behind. You're not doing anything wrong, and you're definitely not alone. And yeah, those are the things I'd tell my younger self. Ooh, the queen is tired. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did learn anything from this video, or even if you felt comforted or seen, then please make sure you like and subscribe, because I post every single Friday and Sunday, and I even post on Wednesdays as well. And also, a large amount of you who come back to watch my videos every single week aren't subscribed. Like, that is fake. I'm literally saying that is fake energy, and I don't condone that. So click that subscribe button and come on to the better side of life. Period. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Mwah. Wow, I'm like really proud of myself. Like, I feel quite proud, you know? Ready? Listen to this. Ooh. Ooh, did you hear that? That hurt. Anyway, that was kind of good. Like, at the end of the day, I love myself. I love my younger self, and I'm so proud of everything that he went through, because now that means that I'm able to, you know, chase my dreams, and that's very important. Just remember that everything in your life will happen exactly when it needs to. Don't stress, have fun, improve every single day, and before you know it, you'll be living the dream. Oh, I got a hiccup. Goodbye. Mwah. Let me take a cute little thing. Ow. Let me take a cute little thing for my TikTok. Ready? Hold on. Oh my god. Oh my god, my nose is bleeding. Oh my god, my nose is bleeding. Oh my god, I need to go. Bye, I need to go.